Part 3. The word chodesh, meaning month, is derived from the Hebrew word chadash, meaning new, which made me think of there's nothing new under the sun, a verse from Ecclesiastes 1:9. So we've got a reference to Jesus and the new moon, or new, in that first line. I came across this story from the Torah. The Torah tells us that God originally created two great luminaries, yet it immediately proceeds to describe the moon as the small and the sun as the great. Rashi explains that they were indeed created equal, but the moon complained that there was no room for two large luminaries, and God told the moon to shrink itself. I was wondering if this is also referring to the idea of the sun and the moon alchemically combining and then creating this third being, whatever that is. Horus, I guess. I'm not sure about the friend, apart from a fraternity, and it's ami in French. Sentimental, I thought, well, that could relate to this idea of feeling, which we associate with the moon, like more intuition, the unconscious mind. There's also scent as in 100, and scent as in post, scent as in smell, and mental as sentimental from the mind or being nuts. And I thought our sentimental friend, the moon, because we often sort of have Our Lady of whatever, so it could be a reference to that idea. And I mentioned Margaret Fuller sort of in the introduction bit. She worked for the Dial, when I was thinking conversation and dialogue are kind of interchangeable. In a letter from Ralph Emerson, he described her as our vivacious friend. So I wonder if sentimental and vivacious are sort of interchangeable, in which case there could be a link to Vivienne there. The next line is, all possibly fantastic, I confess, where fantastic and I confess is in brackets. So with all, could be an oar as in rowing, but I think also gold, particularly with that reference to Jesus, etc. in the first line. So we could, the falcon of gold, Horus Nibu, I think. Confession may relate to Romans 10.9, that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. So believing in the resurrection, I guess, to some extent, is this idea of something that's fantastic. The reference to the heart then, also linking with sentimental and this idea of feeling. And there's also a link with heart in possibly. You've got pos, ib is heart in hieroglyphics. Pos, from the first part of that word, could be PS, which is cook, divide or share. Could also be a posse, as in a crowd, a group, mob or host. But I think the word possibly in hieroglyphics is something like SSP, which is white, bright, dawn, illuminate, receive, or fence, or enclosure, I guess. So illuminated like gold, I guess it's like Horus. Interestingly, the hieroglyph is the hand, same as for dirt. So with the earlier reference to White City and now illumination and walls or fences, you could be talking about Memphis. That's all I've got so far.